Good evening. My name is Rajesh Gopal. I am representing TiE Bangalore, and I have the extreme pleasure of talking today to Christian Hasker, who is the CMO of Hedera. This is one of those serendipitous meetings that we had at the TiE Global Summit in Singapore. And what I'm going to do over the next 5 minutes or so is just to kind of chat up with Christian, understand his perspective on blockchain, which is the area of expertise that he has. What are the kind of leading trends that you're seeing in the blockchain space? Maybe we can start with that for your opening comments.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for having me. So, a little bit just about Hedera and as it applies to some Indian organizations. So Hedera is a public blockchain network, but there are two things that make it different from other blockchains like you may have heard of, like Ethereum. So Hedera has a governing council. This means that we have professional organizations that run the nodes in the network. And these are large companies like IBM and Google, some banks out of both Singapore, DBS, we're here, they're one of our council members, but also some very large Indian organizations as well. So we have Wipro, which is a very large systems integrator in India. We have IIT Madras, which is one of the world's top universities. And we have graduates actually that work at Hedera from IIT. And then the other company is Tata Communications. And Hedera is really built by enterprises and for enterprises. So these companies run Hedera and are Hedera. When you talk about trends, we see a variety of use cases. We're here in Singapore at the FinTech Festival. So we do see a lot of banking solutions, the ability to send cross-border payments at a fraction of a penny and instantly. You know, when people have to send money around the world using traditional payment rails, it's very expensive and takes a very long time. But where in India we see also a lot of traction, it's really around sustainability and building sustainable solutions. Things like microgrids, where maybe a community in India has solar panels on their houses. And you have some communities that band together and basically are a mini power station together. So if one house has a surplus of energy, they can sell it to the grid, they can sell it to their neighbor. And so in areas where you have poor connectivity to the national grid, this is a really good way to ensure constant, continuous availability of electricity. With IIT Madras being again, one of the world's leading universities, they're doing a lot of research into how blockchain can be applied within India to solve some of the challenges, maybe around credentialing, around payments. So very exciting. And then Wipro, being one of the largest systems integrator, can help enterprises implement and deploy these solutions.
Thanks, Christian. You talked about a couple of sectors. Essentially, you mentioned, the sustainability area. You also talked a little bit about tech. I just wanted you to expand on that a bit. I mean, which are the other domains that you're seeing a lot of potential use cases coming up from the solution that you currently have?
Yeah, so we are infrastructure really at the bottom of the stack. That's where a blockchain really is. And so it depends on solutions being built on top of the blockchain. In fact, really, you should not even know the blockchain is underneath, right? If you think about an application that in the Web 2 world that you interact with, that maybe you watch Netflix or Disney Plus or something like that, you don't know what database is behind the scenes, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't care about the infrastructure. You should just care about the user experience. So we really see a trend around 4 different high-level solutions. One is around data integrity. It's really important to all agree on this is the right data. And a blockchain is excellent because once data is written, it cannot be changed. So if you need to audit the history of data and understand the provenance of data, let's say you're building a supply chain application, having the correct data and the fact that it's immutable is very important. The other area of solutions that we're seeing are really around, in the finance world, around tokenizing real-world assets and virtual assets. So let's say you have a large apartment building and you want to fractionalize the interest in that apartment building, and instead of selling it to a few very rich investors, you want to sell it to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, then tokenizing that asset is really the way to go. Virtual assets are things like stablecoins, which for interbank real-time settlement is the use case I talked about earlier. And then we're also seeing around consumer engagement and loyalty. These very big brands that want to find new ways to engage with their fan base, their customer base. Web3 is a very good option for that. And then sustainability I talked about.
Thanks. I just want to pick up one more thread of conversation with you, and that is, TiE Bangalore is actually the host to the TiE Global Summit in 2024. And what I want to just quickly pick your brain on is, what kind of areas, let's say, from an innovation perspective, do you think we should kind of build into the programming for TiE Global Summit in 2024, right? So your thoughts on that?
So that is a great question. We are seeing the rise of AI, and specifically generative AI.
Yeah.
And there are 2 camps. One where people are very fearful of AI and how it's going to really change life or as we know it. And then people that see the opportunity in that as well. So I think, TiE Global Summit, I attended in Santa Clara this year. It's fantastic at really educating on these kind of challenges. And there will be an intersection of AI and blockchain, because AI has today a governance problem. It really has a trust problem. And where you have a deficit of trust, usually blockchain is a good solution. And I haven't seen too many events yet that are talking about these 2 things together. You have blockchain events, you have AI events, and then what is the intersection of these 2 trends? I sat in the supply chain event at the TiE Global Summit, and I think, supply chain is so important and can be disrupted in many ways with these technologies. So how do organizations really get ahead of that curve and really start to be innovative?
Thanks, Christian. That was super useful. We'll take that on board. So what I'm picking up from what you said is, what really happens when AI and blockchain kind of mesh. What are the kind of things that will get thrown up is one of the areas that you'd like us to, pick up for a discussion at TGS. Got that. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you in Bangalore next year.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.